In my last video, I spoke to you about the concept of the science of SQL, and I tried to explain how you use this language to be able to access the database. Today, I'm going to continue along this path. But before then, let me just take out a little time to speak about the AI and the metaverse. Now, what is the metaverse? So much talk about it. For me, this earth that we are living in is a metaverse. What do you call internet? That is probably what you refer to as heaven. Now, when you pray, what do you think you are doing? You are simply browsing. When you have a problem, you have data already stored inside of you. When you have a problem, you try to access those data in your memory. If you have enough data to convert into information that will solve that problem, that is okay. Where you cannot find, you now have to connect to a much larger network. And that is when you pray. So prayer is a form of browsing. You are browsing the internet to be able to get enough data to put together and form the solution to whatever problem that it is that you encounter. That is basically what you are doing. So the metaverse is like this earth. Humanity is creating another world entirely, in which the heaven of that world is the internet. There are beings that are going to be in that world. They are going to depend on the internet to pull out the data they will need to create the information that they will use in solving all the problems that they will encounter. You also have the avatars. The avatars are what you will be controlling, a representation of yourself in that world, which you are going to use to interact with yourself. But you will need the internet to be able to connect to it. So this earth that we are in right now is a metaverse. And there are people responsible for controlling this metaverse. Their own internet is what we call heaven in whatever religious practice that you have. That is basically it. That is what is happening. It therefore means that the moment you end the internet, the AI stops to exist. They explained this to us in the movie called Transcendence. They've explained it in different other movies. For us, those are just entertainment. But for them, they are passing information to us. So it's not left for you to look at these movies and be able to understand what they are telling you. You've seen a lot of these in the movie called Matrix. Matrix, for me, is a documentary that contains everything that we are seeing today. So nothing is new. So what I'm teaching you using SQL is just a very small portion of this entire concept of pulling data from the database, converting this data to information that you use in solving problems. That is just what I'm teaching you. So in my own little way, I'm trying to explain this concept using the SQL and the small database concept that I know to teach you the overall concept of what is happening in the universe. And at the same time, I'm trying to make you see that all the manifestations that you see in your life are functions of your own script. I told you in my last video, if you don't like what you are seeing, all you need to do is change your script. For me, I am rewriting my own script. That is what I am doing. I do not like the way I see my outward appearance. And that is why I've decided to do this, to rewrite my own script and see where it leads me. So stay with me as I explain this concept of the SQL to you. Today, I am going to continue where I stopped last week. This is a complete table. Now I'm going to take you through this table. I told you that a table is referred to as relations, but this table contains columns and rows. The columns, where they meet the rows, are referred to as the field. That's what you have. Now, what I want to show you today is that each of these columns has what we call data type. What are data types? So a column is like a container. Now, in this container, what are the required things that should be in them. For example, physical containers, you have, maybe in this container you have water in them. Maybe in this other container you have air. Maybe in this other container you have solid objects. Different things can be in different containers. So each of the table has the columns, and these columns have data type that tells you what should come into these columns. So that's what I'm going to be explaining today. So let's take, for example, you have this table that you are looking at. This is the table from, say, the HR schema. Now, we have employee number, we have employee names, we have the job type of the employee, the hire date of the employee, and probably the salary of the employee. Now, each of these columns that you are looking at, now these are rows. These are rows. All these are rows. Now, these are columns. These are columns. All these are columns. Now, each of these columns have data type. For example, this particular column has data type number. This column has data type that will character data type. These are character data type. These are also character data types. And these are date data type. And these are also number. This particular data type, we also have character, and we have, can be divided into two, which are varchar, variable character, varchar or char. Then we have this one, we have date data type. So we have this type of data type. So for this one, number data type, it means that anytime you are going to slot in a row in this table, this must have number as data type, this must have character as data type, this must have character as data type, this must have date as data type, and this must have number as data type. Now, if you now try to bring in number into this one, the system will throw you an error that I'm not expecting this type of data in this container. So you have to look at it very well. So that is the purpose of the data type. So like this variable character, how is it different from this character? Let me just clean this. Now, when you have varchar, say maybe this is 3. What this means is that it's going to take 3 characters. So you can have A, B, and C. That's what you will have there. But if you have char, and then you type here, you put 3 here. Now for this one, if you now supply, for this variable character, if you supply A and B, the system will automatically adjust itself to take in just these 2 characters. But you cannot go above it. So if you supply 1 character, maybe only A, the system will adjust itself in the memory to take only this. But for this char, what it will do is, this is 3 that we are supposed to supply, so meaning A, B, C. But if you supply only 1, which is just 1 character, the memory allocation will still be for 3. So this one will lead to wastage of memory space. That is just the difference between this and this. So in this video, I'm just going to show you the selection concept. In my last video, I spoke to you about the capability of the select statement, which is projection, selection, and joining. And I explained something about the projection in my last video. So in this video, I'm going to show you the selection process. And then after that, I'll show you practically the projection and the selection, practically in the computer system. I'll show you that. So I've explained the data type. Assuming we give this table a name, say emp, or we call it, let's just call it emp, because of there's not enough space for me to write. So I call this table emp. Then I want to bring out only these 2, this row from this table. That's what I want to bring out. So I will simply introduce another clause, which is the where clause. And to write that, I will say select star. Select star means give me everything that is in this table from the table name is emp. Emp. Now, if I write this, I'm just going to project the whole of this table. But I want to bring out only this row. So I will introduce another clause, which is the where clause. So select star from emp, where I will now take this column. I'm going to use this column, where emp number equals to 2. Once I write this, the system is going to filter in this table. It will filter everything, but give me only this row. That is what it's going to do. That is where I'm introducing the where clause. This where clause will enable me select any of the row that I want. But without this where clause, I can actually bring out everything in this table. If I want to bring out only this column and this column, I can specifically state the column names in this place. Instead of this star, I can say select employee name, comma, employee number, comma, e-name from emp, and I will get only this place out. But if I want to bring out any of the rows, I will have to apply the where clause. That is basically it. So what I will do now is to show you practically in the system how to achieve the projection and the selection from the employee table using an existing database. So let's check that out. So as you can see, I'm logged into a database right now. I'm going to connect to the database, and I'll use this to show you. You see how it works here. Then I'll actually use SQL Developer again to show you how it works. So I'm going to log in. Okay, so it's asking me for username. I'll say HR, and I'll put the password, which I'm not going to tell you. So I'm logging now. So I'm logged into a database now, a schema of the database, which is actually the HR schema. Then I'm going to see how many tables does this schema have. So I'm going to actually see how many tables it has. Then from those tables, I will query to actually illustrate some of the things that I showed you on the board. So I can now say, I want to see how many tables are in this schema. So this is actually showing me that I have the table names that I have are regions, locations, department, jobs, employees, job history, country. So I have 7 tables. That is what is showing me that I have on this schema. Now, I was using the employee table in my illustration on the board. So I'm just going to check this employee table and see the columns that this employee table has. So to achieve that, I will just type describe employees. So I'm just asking you to show me what are the columns that this employee has, or the columns that this employee table has. So it's showing me this. It's telling me that I have employee ID, first name, last name, email, phone number, hire date, job ID, salary, commission percentage, manager ID, and department ID. That is what is actually showing me. Now, in my previous video, I told you about the primary key and the foreign key. If you look at this table, this employee table, it has a column known as department ID. This department ID is actually in this department table. It's a primary key in this department table, but here is a foreign key. So it means that I can actually relate this table, this employees table, and this department table together. I will use it in my joining. So until then. But here, I'm just showing you this. Now, today I also explained data types, and these are the data types. So it's telling me that the employee ID column has number as data type, and you can actually put only 6 digits. You can't put more than 6 digits. Now, the first name has variable character 2, meaning virtual variable character. So I can put 20 up to 20 characters. So if I have less than 20 characters, the memory allocation will be adjusted. So you can see last name also has virtual 2 up to 25 characters. Email has virtual 2 up to 25 characters. Higher date has the date data type. So I cannot put any other thing in this higher date other than the date data type. Then we have salary has number, which is 8 and 2. These are talking about precision. Then you also have this null column. This is telling you that this employee ID table, anytime you are going to input data into this employee table, this column, employee ID, must never be null, meaning there must always be something in it. But first name, you can leave it empty. Probably nothing, you can leave it empty. That's why I'm showing you not null. Phone number, you can equally omit phone number if you are inserting. So if there is no phone number for the person, you can omit it. But all this one that you are seeing not null, like this employee ID, last name, email, hire date, job ID, you must always fill something in them when you are inserting a row into this table. That is what this is telling you. All right. So if I now want to see the employee, I want to see the table itself and all the data that are contained in this table, I can actually say select star from employees and it will show me everything. So if I say select star from employees and I press enter, see, it's showing me this. Okay, actually I have to structure this for you to be able to see it very well. Now, let me go and show you this using another platform, which is the SQL developer, so that you'll be able to see it better. I can actually arrange this, but there's no point doing that now. Let me show you in another platform. So this is SQL developer. So I'm going to write that same query here, and then you see how it's going to come out. So I will say select star from employees, because I already know that there's an employee table existing in this schema. So you can see when I run it, this is what it's showing me. Now so when I run it, it's showing me this. It's showing me the employee ID. It's showing me first name, last name, email, phone number, hire date, job ID, salary, commission percentage, manager ID, department. Now, you actually saw that all these columns, if I say describe employees, if I click on this and I say execute, okay, sorry, because I have those two. So I'm going to select this and then click on the execute. Now, this is what is showing me when I execute it. The employee ID, first name, last name, email, phone number, exactly how you saw it in this platform. This, what you have here is exactly what you are seeing here too. Now, I have described showing me this. Why this one? If I execute this, it's now showing me what are in those columns. So these are the data that I have inside the database. So if I want to bring out, I want to bring out only David Austin. That is just this row, number 6. I'm going to write another query. Say select star from employees. So I'm just going to choose, so it's showing me this. Employees, where employee ID now is showing me all the columns that I have. So it's showing me the columns that I have. So I can just pick this one. Where if I don't want to tab, I can just select it. Employee ID equals, I'm looking for number 6, 105. So I'm going to just run this so you can see. It's going to show me just that row, which is David. That's what I'm telling you. I want to bring this out. But if I want to bring out employee ID, first name, last name, I don't want all this other information to come out. I can change my query to select. I will now type it, employee ID. I'll say comma, first name, underscore name, comma, last name from so. So I'm going to run this so you can see. It's just showing me the employee ID, the first name, and the last name. So I can bring out as many subtable as I want from that singular table, which is this one. You can see that these are different scripts that I'm writing query to query from the database. So this is what I was showing you on the board. So we have looked at projection. This is projection. This is selection. And this one is actually giving me everything that is in that table. So you can actually control what you see as your manifestation from your own script. Now, this does not change the full database. It doesn't. You decide what you want to see. And based on what you want to see, you write your script. That is what I'm trying to show you. So that is what I have to show you in this video. If you are just joining me, please don't forget to click on the subscribe button to encourage me. And if you like this video, please click on the like button. So till I see you in my next video. Bye-bye.